This town is very, very old, but does it have old things that we can buy and sell for a profit, or things that our collectors really love? Come on, let's go see. The Newburgh Traderbakers is supposed to be one of the better ones in the system, and they're also openly, which is nice. $55 on that gate. So right away we are in Spice Land. And people think, oh, old spice tins, what's the big deal? But, you know, these are all pre-UPC codes. They're all made out of metal. They represent some stores and some brands that aren't around anymore. And people just like the look. This space is very heavy on kitchen-y type things. Women's Home Companion Cookbook, that one's priced at $20, and I think that is retail on that one. Some of the cookbooks are really worth looking for. I just sold the Brown Derby first edition from 1949 with the dust jacket for $100. Well, it's priced in the hundreds, but they do have three very pretty old Victorian gold enameled cranberry glass pieces. And a nice one in the back there. That one is only $125, but I think that one has some chips on the rim. We see these a lot. These are reproductions. They take old Jollity windows, and so they will look old, but they're not. Beware of these when you see them. This beverage set here is pretty with the enameling. This is later in time. It says English cameo set, but I am thinking that this actually is 20th century rather than 19th because of the lack of wear on that piece. It is priced at $185, which I think is fair for what it is. I just would like to know a little more about it. Now, this center teardrop stone is so puddled looking that lets me know that this is a newer piece. It's too bad because that would be a fantastic huge rhinestone pin along the lines of the old Eisenberg ones that they used to make if it was indeed real. The prices on the cameos seem fine at about $45 a piece. I have one of these too. This is a $50 that was blown out in repoussé from the back to be given a face. Yes, the original Dunhill butane lighters, they get credit for being some of the progenitors, and they do sell for big money. This one's priced at $225 with its original box. It looks like it was never used. We got some Fiesta ware earlier today that was marked ceramostone, and those dinner plates are worth about $8 or $10 a piece. There was a bowl as well, not this style bowl. This is the original 1930s color. The colors I got were from 1969. But I paid less than the price on this bowl for the entire stack. It's nice that they allowed us to open this to show you. These are creamware pieces from the 1840s with this Gothic revival design. They are priced at $250 for the three-piece set. They have the apostles on them. This is a particularly nice set. Creamware was something that Wedgwood did. I don't see any marks on these to identify who the maker is, but they are very nicely done, and that's a pretty good price. And actually, these pieces all seem well priced. The iris is $65, also Victorian England. In the back here, $125 for the cherubs on the Perrianware, and then this piece, which looks like it has, I'm trying to be respectful and not move them around, Hectate 1847, so they've been able to identify that piece to the year. And that one is priced at $125. They have some other very pretty porcelain pieces in here as well. Prices starting at about $40 or $45 for this one with the flowers. Because ironstone is becoming popular and because gray interiors are becoming popular, I believe the Perrianware that was supposed to look like marble will follow suit. So I think these are good prices now, and I may look back on them in a year or two and say, wow, why didn't I buy some of that stuff? Nice little cranberry swirl vase there also for $47.50. That's also Victorian. Marble Bust of Venus priced at $185. Marble is definitely coming back into style as well. And then here's a cheese dome. Yes, big rounds of cheese would have gone on those in the 1840s. That's gray. Also Perrianware priced at $255. Only $6.50 on the Ozark Airlines. It's a little bit worn, but the old airlines that are out of business are definitely collectible. United States Steel typewriter ribbon. Interesting. They've got $150 on this Dixie cup dispenser for Coca-Cola. I have sold similar for similar prices. This one's a little worn, but you know, finding it with the contents is a trick. These iridized milk glass lamps with the applied decoration. I have one for sale in Florida. I think they're kind of a neat look, and they're definitely very much of a period. Again, with white coming back into decorating. I'm thinking things like this are something to pick up. You have to like that schmaltzy shade, but that is original from about 50 years ago. Moon and stars here in the yellow. You don't see that often. They're calling it amber, but this is really more of a true yellow, and it's actually a little more desirable because of it. And they are only asking $15 for the 4, so that may be a buy. Behind, they have the resin grapes, which are also marked $15. That is definitely a buy. Well, I'm going to spare you a bunch of new stuff that I'm walking by while I tell you that I do have 2 other channels. I have the Antique Nomad Live. We will be doing some more live content items soon, so check us out there. And we also now have the Antique Nomad Shorts, where we do short form content that is 1 minute or less. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe there too, and we'll see you all over the place. Lots of fun things that we have to share with you. $3 on the 1976 plate. Probably the most common one they ever made. Being in Grondel, they were so popular and they're wonderful and they have a great story, but we are not seeing them sell for much at all, especially the ones in this era where they made a lot. This is really cool, the McCord motor gaskets. This is out of an old garage. It says pre-Second World War, and I'd say that's absolutely right based on the style of the lettering, which looks more like late 20s, early 30s. And it's got that alligatoring. $3.50, but the condition is good, and you know, people love things with drawers now, and guys like to put this sort of thing in rooms that look a lot like this. They also have this really cool Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the circa 1950 race car there. These were given away by one of the promoters of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so they're worth about $165. That's what they've got priced on this one. The Hubley Express from the 1930s, the Motor Express, that's a really cool one with that trailer. That's priced at $195. It is a hard one to get. And then this is a 1958 Ford convertible that had a very distinctive front end that year. It is Japanese and battery operated, but it isn't working, and that's why it's $40. If it worked and the top came up and covered up, well, then you'd be looking at maybe $250 or $300. I still love the old tire ashtrays. They've really come down in price. $22 is about what a lot of these older ones sell for. This one is 1920s or 30s. You can tell by the depression glass ashtray and the narrowness of the tire. This one, which is hollow and a Sieberling, is $18 from the 1950s. This one has this cool spoke pattern in the middle of it, 1920s. It's a little flat though. And this one, well, there you go, $22 on the Mohawk tire. The ignition cabinet's in good shape and very clean and has lots of nice places here for storage, and you could even cut some glass and put some pull-out drawers in it. It's priced at $135. That seems like a reasonable price with a cool old graphic like that. Original Pepsi clock, bottle cap in plastic from about 1960 in the original box. That is priced at $199. Now we've got this cool Robert the Robot, and he is priced at $125. And yes, even the Ford Taurus got a promotional card, $25 on that one. Well, there are definitely some fun things and dealers who have some vintage things, including whole collections. These syrup with the various drip cuts seem to be pricing between about $4.99 and $5.99. All of those are good prices. They've got these great 50s birds, They're priced at about the usual prices, $15 to $25. Here is the Seattle World's Fair glass. Now, since I'm going back there for shows, I would definitely be interested in this if the price is right. $6 is just about the maximum I would pay. The color's a little disturbed here, though, so I think I'm going to leave it, unfortunately. This goes with a pattern called Bucks County, which is by Royal China. They did the Courier and Ives and the old homestead and the green Dickens looking stuff in the 1950s. This is only $3.99, and I think this piece is actually a fairly hard one to find, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a little juice glass there. And of course, it is Halloween, and with Halloween come these little shrinky dinky thingies. All American material. Let's see how much they want for this one. Looks like about $19.80. It is priced at $15. The timing is exactly right. I wouldn't pay a penny more for it, but considering I've got a show and I have no Halloween, I think I'll take that. $30 for 3rd Street, these old embossed signs. That's a fair price for those. It's nice to see them not priced beyond that because they really shouldn't be, in my opinion. This is interesting because it's got this extra little attachment for being part of the Illinois National Guard, which meant that they could get in closer if there were disasters. $20 with that topper, that's interesting. Princeton, Indiana, where they have the antique show. This is a leather scabbard, priced at $30 from there. A lot of these big heavy vases that seem like German with the heavy texturing are actually American from the 1950s and 60s. The one on the left is Savoy, and I believe this one is as well. It certainly has the weight of it. They were really thickly cast. You see the Savoy label on this particular one, which is nice to see because you usually don't see that. And it says decorated in 24 karat gold, and people get all excited, but you can't get that gold out. It's just a very, very thin paint. And then here's some temporary signs. These are only $5 each. There's got to be something somebody would want in there. We'll take a look in a moment, but I wanted to show these interesting pattern dishes here, which are not very expensive. And these are by a company called Santa Anita. Santa Anita had its designer named Vreni, V-R-E-N-I, and she did a lot of their wear around the early 50s. This is called California Fantasy. You don't see it often at all. I don't know whether there's enough of a market for this these days, but they're so fantastic looking in terms of the design. I'm going to take a moment and check into these. Yeah, it's like fruitcake. They just keep going around. Well, it's my turn to have the fruitcake then. But I just found some really neat dinnerware that you never ever see, and it turns out it is selling for good money, so I am going to get it. I can't believe I'm buying dishware, but boy, that's what's been a bargain today. So all of this is a company called Santa Anita, and it is really cool, and the dinner plates are selling for $40 each. Well, this is more like it. Now we're starting to have some stuff. Let's see. So it's Blanco and it's Ruby, which is good. How much should that be? Probably 35. 20. That might be worth getting then, because that I've got it. Yeah, it looks like it's in good shape. Yeah, thank you. I think you found something there. I have a feeling that we can put 40 on that, and if we make a little less than double, I'll make up for it with that plate that is $3 and is worth 40. So there we go. This place has some cool stuff. This set of lighters in the original box from about 1970, and it's $90 for all. They're probably worth that if you priced them out. Lots of $15 bone-handled knives, 40 bucks on the badge there. The French Red Cross pin from 1918 is very cute for 15. I don't know which part of that is more disturbing. It's funny, I can see you through it actually. Catitude. Always like the Vienna art trays from about 1900 to 1910. A lot of these have advertising on the back for various breweries. This one is just one that was sold as it is, patented 1905, and this one is $85. More than I can pay these days, but Very pretty nonetheless. Seneca did driftwood, which is this pattern, and Morgantown did crinkle, which is a little deeper. But these textured glasses from the late 60s are great colors. They're easy to hold on to. $2.50 each is a pretty good deal on those in that color. Let's see here. Well, toll painting actually does sell. This was probably done in the 80s on a late 70s, early 80s set, $35. I always like these round hanging wall pockets, only $12.95. That's 1930s Japanese, and the little 1920s ship bookends for $9. That's pretty cheap. I may have to add some more things to the cart here. Deer planter for $20. Who did this one? Maddox of California, yes. It's got that lightweight feel. $19.59 on that one, and it's priced at $19.95. And I came over here to see this because I'm curious who the maker of this piece is. It does have a good mark, and it is Crown Potteries of Ohio. I haven't really seen this shape before. Let's put it up where it can really be seen. Besides, it looks good with that mother and girl portrait vase from the 20s. Late 70s pottery craft. They did these canister sets. Of course, Treasure Craft was known for canisters, but the pottery craft were frankly a lot better quality because they were stoneware, and you see the little spice jars that go with them as well. These are pretty well priced, under $15 on the canisters and only about $6 a piece on the spice. Oh, Wildware out of Los Angeles, late 30s, early 40s, good color combinations. Really not a bad price on those if you were going somewhere where seacoast was the thing. This silly looking standing bear should say McCoy on the bottom. And he's priced at $38.88. I remember back when these were, somebody likes the number 8 here. Back when these were, this is a 70s one, you can tell by that mark. But back when these were really, really popular, this one sold for well over $100. So the price on it is really pretty good for what it is. And if your dog just won't stay, well, get this cement dog for $79 and it will stay permanently. Zeno picked this out. It is a high chair from probably about 1950 with those big button tucks, similar to the dinettes as they were making them. This is priced at $85, which for the right person would be a really good deal. I mean, it's a very specific Disney collectible. It also is mounted to a Formica table underneath, so it's a little more than I can carry today, but boy, that is a really cool thing. Haven't seen that one before. The California Pottery Lazy Susan seems to have all its pieces here, including the black, because it had to go with this white and pink, late 50s. And I'm trying to remember who was the maker of this particular one with that lettering. There were several California potters that did those squarish initials, including Maurice of California and Marcia. Old payphones definitely are something that will sell, and especially when they are a color. And this one even has its little house. The piece in there is automatic electric, and that's going to date to the late 50s or early 60s. The phone surround obviously is more recent, but they would have just put anything in anything, so that's entirely possible that that's how it came new. It's priced at $300 next to this big old pump for $169. And then, of course, we have to show this because here's going to be a whole lot of cool swung glass action. I don't think these people are going to not know what they have, and I don't think these are going to be flea market price, but we're going to look at them anyway because they're fun. $250 on the Cobalt. Viking handkerchief vase in Blunique for $55. They got these diamond pattern large swung vases around $275, $125 on the green. The green is selling for less these days, it seems. Rainbow glass, this one here, and I like the little bittersweet ashtray, but yeah, these are really fun pieces, and if you just really want to have that color and that piece to finish out your collection, the prices are fine, but not for a reseller. I always like the Braille ashtrays. These were sold as fundraisers to help the blind in the 1950s. It's priced at $15. I don't get a lot more than that for them, so I'll leave it here, but I think they're fun to see. And this is a very fun tiered server here. The top has this carved figure that looks African, and then giraffes in the transferware. It's only priced at $15. Whoa. And it is made by Royal China. I have not seen this piece before. That's pretty cool. I haven't shown these before. This is not something I've ever dealt in. They're from about 1985. They were Homeco, and they were called Denim Days. And there is some value to some of them. You see prices here between about $8 and $20. That seems to be about what a lot of these are selling for. But this is another 1980s figural that I would have overlooked because they look newer than the type of things I'm used to dealing in. A dresser caddy of a squirrel. Okay, this one's a little different. I don't know how it would hold your billfold. I mean, I see coins and keys.
1957.
Yep. Fine Enterprises. Yeah, they're the ones that made the Wilma and Fred Flintstone ashtrays and probably a bunch of these other caddies. Oh, that's where the wallet goes. How much is that guy? 20? Yeah. It's not bad considering he's not a common one, but I don't know that that's a bargain. And then this is another caddy, which would have held various and sundry, and this one is also $20. Oh yes, little Hager ashtray. Cranberry glass piece for $23.50 seems like a good deal. So there's definitely stuff in this place, and I'm finding some things. So it's been a good day of looking around at some different and new places. They have these marked as side dishes. These were actually intended to be bone dishes that would sit next to your dishes so you could put fish bones or chicken bones or things in. These are Royal Crown Chantilly roast. So these are 1950s Japanese to look like 1910s American. And that's why they're only $22.50 for the set of 6. Not quite as refined in the painting though. And now the purplest lamp ever. I love that color. I'm not so wild about the painting necessarily, but yeah, that seems like a good price. You'd have to do a whole display around it, but it is fun. A bunch of oud pottery, which started here in Evansville and then moved to Huntingburg, Indiana. It's going to be priced full price here because this is where the collectors are the most fervent, although I have sold oud pottery to people all the way out on the West Coast. Ooh, look at this with the gooseneck and the double shades. $95 is not a bad price for these days. Oh yes, where you would put your little baby boomer darlings so that they could wheel around the floor and make a big mess, but they had to still sit in the middle of it. That's actually pretty cool, and I think it folds up into a flat table. And because of that, $20 seems like a bargain on that because you could just use it as a regular table, if I'm understanding this right. I think all of this, yeah, I think this all folds and then pulls back up. Ah, there we go. You actually, I think, if I did that right, I pulled this away. Does that one also come out? It does not. This is the part where I should have taken more mechanical classes in school. Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, somehow push the foot back. Oh, it's a Costco, yes. This folds down. Well, let's just see what... Well, I can't help it that it's not exciting. Well, I know. It was supposed to be hopefully easier than this. See, that comes out, but I don't think it's really supposed to. Oh, darn. It seems like there should be some really easy, like, one thing makes it all flop around, but I guess we're going to leave it here. But it is a great price. I mean, it's somebody probably knows how, and for 20 bucks I could take it home and fight with it, but I think I'm going to leave it the way it is because it actually will sell if it's out where it can be seen. So too bad. I have a feeling it's really neat and I'm just not getting quite how to do it. Ooh, Barmaster, the Toast of the Nation cocktail set in stainless steel. Let's see what that is. Oh yes, this is the whole thing with the... Yeah, this is why a lot of these that we see with the recipes like this don't have a lid, because you just use that to pour and shake between the two. It's got everything though. I think I should take that for that price. I'll put it back together properly when I get it home. But it's only $8.95 and it's perfect for at home at the office, because drinking at the office is approved apparently at this point. Maybe the office is why we have to drink. Yes. Okay, I think we have found what we can... Oh, here's something you'll like. Pepsi Cola and Kroger 100th anniversary. Well, this is kind of fun. It's the Big Band Crooners, and it is an older purse. It's not an Enid Collins or any of those. I'm not sure who did this. It's $25. It might be cute enough to pick up, but it's kind of right on the line for me. But well, while I contemplate this, I want to let you contemplate possibly joining us on Patreon. We have people who are signing up for as little as $1 a month. It's your own choice as to what you give, but we are giving early access to some additional bonus videos to people who sign up there. So check me out on Patreon at the Antique Nomad. I'm supposed to be getting a big collection of Fiesta when I get to do my Florida shows, and I believe this is one of the pieces they have. Now this has a tiny little chip here, which is too bad, but this orange color was only made until 1941 because it needed uranium, just like that depression glass, and they had to take the uranium out of production because the military needed it. So they quit making the orange Fiesta, and that's why it's the most expensive of the early colors. Here's a little tip you might be able to use. This bowl is a very pretty Capri blue, similar to the azure blue of Cambridge Caprice or Duncan Caribbean back in the elegant depression glass days. And it is the same era, but you notice that it's got some extra design elements. There's squares and there's rounds, and it's Art Deco, but it's just a little bit more added on. When you see those heavy pieces like that, they're generally English Art Deco glass, or they're Val Saint Lambert from Belgium. The English isn't that collectible, but the Val Saint Lambert is, so look for those labels. Everybody knows Murano glass is popular now, and because of that, anything that looks sort of like Murano is being attributed, and a lot of folks really don't know how to tell the difference. So this cobalt blue with the swirl, you see a little of the metallic in there. This is definitely a Murano piece. See the way it's finished on the bottom, it's very flat. But then they have this piece that they also have Murano question mark, and no, this is from China. This is offshore. Quality isn't as good, for one thing, but also the way it's finished, it's got a mold pattern pressed in on the bottom. It's brand new. It's got that greasy feel of new glass. So this one is not Murano. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, I think that's one of the Brush McCoy Onyx pieces, but you don't see it as a flower frog so much. This is going to date probably around 1930, and for that price, that might just be worth getting. Xenomorph has definitely developed an eye for some of this stuff, I've got to say. These were just commercial white wine bottles, but they are collectible now. They've only got $18.95 on this one. Generally, you see them washed away, the labels washed away, and then they have prices of $45 and $65 on them, which is what it should be, so I'm going to get this one. And back there, I see some Blanco. We've got 3 twin spouts. And, oh, thank you for making that disappear. And this piece, which is a Nile vase by Blanco. They have it priced at $84.95. They do have this one correctly attributed. It probably has an acid signature because this was done at that time. Yeah, it's very hard to see because they didn't adhere well, but this is from about 1960 when they briefly did an acid signature. And this Blanco vase, $68. Empoli in the thin green is starting about $50. This is what Empoli glass was up until after World War II. It was all this green color, by the way. And I like the flamingo mirror. This one is $48.95. This one is not as detailed as the Turner, you can see, but it's still a good price for what it is. Yes, there we go. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's quite a lot more. Yes, a bunch of Empoli and related Italian glass. Some genie bottles. These Piccaro decanters, which were another commercially made thing. A lot of this was done for commercial purposes in Italy. Wine bottles and such. The clown decanter. Some nice Viking pieces and white ceramic angel tree, $24, says it's vintage. I like the chef knife holder too. And of course this very orange 1960s lobster dish for $20. Definitely want to look at this piece with the cased glass. Interesting green handle there. This appears to be Empoli as well. It's very similar to the ginger jar that I just sold. Will a pitcher sell for $80? It's possible, and I'm going to look because I think that's a pretty good piece. Mom's got to keep the Cook's Goldblum beer in the house. These are priced at about $135 each because this is made in Evansville, so it's the most popular here. But I found these little guys. They're screen print from the 50s, and they have palm trees and sailboats. And they are priced at only $3 each, and these will certainly sell in Florida for $8 to $10. Newburgh is a great old town, founded just before 1800, I believe. A wonderful little river town with a lot of nice specialty shops and a consignment store called Feather Your Nest, and that is on the recommended list, so let's take a look and see. We're in the historic part of town, as you can tell by the houses. And then we are looking on the corner here in this venerable old building that was a bakery and had been a bakery for its entire existence until it ended up becoming the telephone company and now a consignment store. Well, that was short because they closed at 4 and we got here right at 4, so darn. Well, we'll have to try on a day that things are a little more open because Tuesday is not always the best day to catch people available. Well, as the sun sets slowly in the west, so sets our day of vendor mauling and hunting for antiques and vintage that we could flip for a profit. We had some success. The vendor mall in particular spent $160 there, found some really great things.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.